As an artist, what do we do with all of our scraps? Today, I'm excited to share with you one in celebration of Earth Day this month and my friend the Traveling Crafter's birthday. I'm going to show you how to use uh, those pieces, that scrap paper that you hold on to, and what to do with it and how to make art with it. So today, we are painting with paper. My name is Amber Scott. I am the owner and creator here at Mountain Nittany Creations, and I'm excited to share this with you. By the end of the video, you will be able to know how to take all the scraps you have and make a painting with them. So here I am. This is a scrap from printing with a jelly plate. So sometimes I make ghost prints and different things, and I hold on to the paper because I can use it for backgrounds or different projects like this one. I'm using Aleene's decoupage glue. It's matte decoupage, so it's not shiny. I like the matte personally, but and I really like Aleene's project, but other brands work as well too. So I'm using it not only as a glue, but also to seal in my scrap paper. So you'll see me painting on the back of it to glue it down, but also painting over top of it. And then I'm using my bone folder to try and make sure all the glue spreads out evenly to hold my scrap piece up there. So it's a pretty thick piece of paper, so I want to make sure it's not going to come off. And now I'm just kind of painting the edges. I always mark my paintbrushes. I don't know if you can see it on the end of it. I put a piece of washi tape or something, and to separate out my glue brushes that I paint with versus my regular paintbrushes, because the glue can stiffen them, but you can rinse it out and everything, and it's not great but to use again for painting, but it still works well. Now I just have a container, squirted some of the Aleene's in there, and now we're just gonna start painting with scraps. So I had trouble with my video, I apologize. So I started out with using chalk. So even my canvas is recycled, so to speak. I got it. I like to go to Goodwill and look in their crafting section and pick up old canvases. This one was solid black. Got it for a couple bucks. It's a great way to save money as an artist, and you can still get really good supplies. So this was a black canvas that I paid a couple bucks for at Goodwill. Sometimes I'll pick up canvases at Goodwill and paint over them. Take somebody else's old piece of art and paint over them, and then it really works well on a black canvas to use chalk. So chalk washes off, but I can draw out, and it helps me paint with the paper because I can draw out where I want to put things. So yeah, so here I am. I'm just tearing up the paper, trying to get the right shape and size. One thing with painting with paper, it's not a precision kind of thing. I personally don't feel like it is. You certainly could get out those scissors and trim up those scraps and make them all perfect and pretty, but that's not me. So there, you definitely can do that. So any kind of person can paint with scraps, so to speak, but I prefer to just be messy. So I rip it up. I really like seeing the torn edges on it. I feel it gives depth and shape and character. The piece I'm using for the first flower was this uh, piece of trash from a mailer or something, and it had this ombre sunset coloring painting on it. There was nothing, it was, just abstract, nothing particular, but I loved the color light. So that's that whole piece. So going through the different layers of color that it had. I thought I might just use the yellows and oranges, but I just loved the whole thing, so I went ahead and used it all. And many of those scraps I will use again. different capacities, filling in different spots. Yeah, so and I did find with the black canvas that it helped to put the decoupage glue down first. So there are definitely different brands of decoupage. I haven't found one that I didn't like yet, so go for it. I know you can get a small bottle, not of Aleene's, but of a different brand at the dollar store if you want to give it a try, and without a lot of commitment or a lot of money. Excuse me. So now I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for the center of my flower. Sorry, you're staring at my shoulder here. But I keep my old paint palettes. And so I figured they sort of got like a roundish oval shape. So that will certainly work for this project. So just finding the one I like. And that was my paint palette. Like, it was a paper palette that I put my paint on and painted with. And I have tons of them. And I keep them for things like this. So yeah, if your boyfriend, your friend, your husband or whatever wants to throw out your paper scraps this month, tell them, no, it's Earth Day this month. I need to paint with my scraps. Because I do. I love painting with paper. Yeah. I was just checking my camera, making sure it's working, because you saw that I missed some of my video, or lost a little bit there. We don't want that. We don't want to lose any video, right? But the nice thing about painting with scraps is that, yeah, you can tear up pretty paper, like you can tear up scrapbooking paper, or you can tear up junk mail, you know, cards, anything pretty much. You see something special, rip it out or cut it out if that makes you feel better. And then stick it in a drawer and come back and use it later. I have a whole drawer of palettes for me to use. So I use that actually several times in this painting. Different opportunities. I use the palette paint a lot to create my flowers. If you want to watch more videos with me, or if you want to chat with me live, I go live on Mondays at 1. And we do all kinds of projects. We do jewelry projects, we do scrapbooking, junk journaling. Well, not really scrapbooking, I should say more junk journaling. Yeah, I'm showing you my paper palette here as I rip it up. This was a lot of fun. There's something very meditative, very tactile and meditative about painting with paper. Like looking for the color I want and then ripping it up and applying the glue and putting it on the canvas. It all is just so, I don't know, so meditative. I'm not, honestly, you know, I have my layout on how I want to make it happen, and then I'm just free to just create. The green in the leaves I have there, that was just, it was a form I had, and on the back there's writing and stuff, so it's like, oh, this is a great, whole huge piece of green that I can use for these leaves. And I'll go back and add some more green in behind the flowers and stuff after there was a big clump in my trying to get the glue out, but there's a big clump in there. Okay, I'm going to speed things up a little here as I continue to paint with my paper. I feel so blessed to get to be part of Give a Scrap this year. I've always really appreciated Earth Day and I love nature. I love our earth. So I was excited to be able to incorporate my art into that and also to celebrate my friend Angela's birthday. So happy belated birthday. I know it was over last weekend, Angela, so I hope you had a really good one, and I love this project that you have going on. And also doing a scrappy flower, like you lose some of the rules. Like all the colors don't have to be the same. All the petals don't have to be the same. There's a lot, at least for me, a lot more loosey-goosiness in this type of art. And I really enjoy it. I should make more painting with paper. I could start making that a monthly thing or something. I don't know. Another scrap busting kind of project. That's the other goal of Give a Scrap, I think, is to reduce some of your scraps. Make something beautiful with what you already have. So many of the crafters, I love what they're doing. They're making bookmarks and tags and rolls, like washi tape looking rolls, master boards, all kinds of different things. So I've been really having so much fun. If you have a chance, go watch the other artists. I'm having so much fun watching them. Here's me trying to figure out what I was trying to rip all of my paint splash things from my paper palette into ovally type shapes so that I could put them on here. So now I have, it's only like a penny size punch. I need to get more punches. I really enjoy punches. So fairly small, but I'm going to make one of the flowers out of punches. I made a mess. They were falling on the floor and everything. But it was really fun. So yeah, it's going to be kind of like not a hydrangea. Yeah, I guess like a hydrangea or something of that sort. So just kind of a different shape, like a bluebell or blue bonnet, right? Is that a blue bonnet? I think. Where it has like several flowers on one stem. So just kind of playing with the dots. All of this out of junk. Painting with scraps. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to make that a monthly segment or something, because this was just so fun. I forgot how much I love painting with scraps. I think mixed media is probably one of my favorites, and I just don't do it enough. That's why I think I like the junk journaling, because it's kind of like, it's like mixed media art. You're creating with all kinds of supplies, not just, I have a hard time limiting myself to one type of supply. But I do it. I definitely paint with just acrylic paint. But then you're changing colors and yeah, so painting is different. But this type of mixed media is, I'm just pretty much just using my scraps. I didn't paint anything. But so, more petals. I need more flower petals. Now I'm covering the whole flower. I'm like, okay, enough of this one by one. I did get lost on this flower when I started laying it out. Like, okay, I was trying to overlap and underlap and I got confused. So it looks a little funky, but you know what? It's scraps. It's a bouquet, a funky bouquet with scrap flowers. So. So yeah, there I was just trying to make sure it was either laying underneath or behind or making it small enough to fit in a little tiny space so I don't overlap the big flower. Now I'm just kind of playing, and this is where I lose my flower. I'm like, where's the center again? Oh well. The end result works, right? And that's what really matters, is the end result. Yeah, no, I get it's therapeutic too, I think, because of like all the ways of tearing and ripping. But you could do this with junk mail. You could do it with draw a whole bunch of color in, scrap paper with markers, and there's all kinds of ways. This is a great kind of craft to do if you don't have a lot of money, but you have, everybody has junk mail. Everybody has trash. Everybody, like, so something simple. You might, may have markers and crowns. You could color a whole page orange. Like, there's all kinds of ways that this could be just so accessible, and people can create beautiful art with what they have on hand. I don't want to call it trash art, but I guess that's kind of what it is. And thankfully, the ripping of the paper and stuff doesn't necessarily hurt my hands. Decided I wanted another leaf in here. I'm like, oh, I need more glue. I was having a lot of trouble with the bottom of this, but I have since thrown out that bottle of glue and have another one to work with now. But that Aliens bottle lasted me forever. So, good product, good product. It's just a way to be expressive. It'd be a great way to get out some emotions, maybe the ripping or the, I don't know, different things, different ways of getting through different things. You can see me trying to get to the end of my bottle. So now I'm just taking big scraps of paper to make the table. You'll see, there was a couple of different papers that I really liked. They were just scraps from when I was doing some jelly printing, or so I'm just trying to fit it around. So making the table could have been my first thing versus doing the vase and flowers first, but oh well, it is what it is. So I'm just going to rip it so it fits. But there aren't a lot of rules to painting with paper. I'm lifting it up a little so I can get the glue all the way around my paper, all the way down to the edge. And one thing I found too is using my finger can be really helpful in spreading the glue, so that's what you see me doing sometimes. My hands were a disaster. They were very sticky after this project, but definitely worth it. I had so much fun. This brought me so much joy to just play, and that's what it is. It's just playing with what I have already and creating with it. And that is just, to me, is so much fun. It's a lot like what junk journaling is like. Playing around, playing with different compositions and different locations of pieces until I find, just trying to get this the right size. And it had a weird angle to it. That's why I'm playing it. It didn't have a straight angle on the bottom. So I was trying to play with it and get it to lay just right. I'm very much running out of glue here at the very end, but we're almost done. Sorry to block your view. Trying to get the bottom of that glue. And don't do what I do. Don't put your paintbrush in your mouth. I gotta find a bit. If I was wearing my apron, I probably could have put it there. I could have laid it on the... There was all kinds of ways I could have done it differently. But, oh well, that's what I did. Here I am trying to get that to curl around the edges and kind of fit in that spot. So learn from me. Hint, hint, put the table down first, not your vase. But it works. I had to build around it, but it works. And just keep painting along here. All right, we're filling in the bottom here. Sorry, blocked your view there for a moment. But grabbing different little scraps, trying to fill in all the spots around the vase. And running out of glue was being my nemesis. I didn't realize I was going to run out of glue, or I would have grabbed some more, you know, that kind of thing. So it's okay to layer lots of pieces, and I hope that you are learning something as we near the end of our video here of painting with paper. I'm going to try and speed it up a little here. Now so I sped it up a little. Hopefully that'll help with this. Sorry, that's my head. I'm looking for a white marker, white paint pen or something is what I'm trying to make happen. My white paint pens don't love me. So I wanted to add in some highlights. It might be really hard for you guys to see, but that's the way the light on my easel reflects. It might be hard for you to see, but I was adding in white highlights here. Trying to give some depth to the shapes that I had created. You know, there's all kinds of ways. I love paint markers, except for when they don't work. You could certainly get out acrylic paint and just do this as well. You could get regular markers, but that might be harder to see. So the paint markers should lay on top of the paper okay. Some of the paper is different. It's got a magazine feel to it, so and some of it's still a little bit wet from me gluing it down, so that's another reason they're not working great. All right, now we're on to the next paint marker. Now I have a black one. Trying to add in some more details and definition. I like how those black lines just kind of make the flowers not look like scrap just laying there, but actually look like a flower. It gave it a little more definition, I guess. So I wasn't totally happy with it because the black's so dark, at least up front, but from this distance. In the recording it looks great. So yeah, it looks a little more stark in person, but I think it works. So adding in shadows and defining different shapes, trying to give it all kind of definition. All right, now we're moving on to the gold marker. We're in the last minute of our video, so I thank you so much for joining me for this length of time. The gold also adds in highlights and just gives it more depth. It might be hard to see on the video, but adding in gold splash all over the place really just helps define the painting, at least in person. It's harder for you guys to see. But happy Earth Day, happy birthday to my friend Angela. Make sure you follow the Give a Scrap hashtag and see all of the other amazing artists out there. I will make sure that I will tag them all in the description so that you can go and see them all. Today was the 17th, and it was supposed to be Trish and I, and then tomorrow Johanna has a video coming out. So yeah, so the first 3 weeks were great, so hopefully you'll get a chance to go out and see them. If not, they are available. They're on YouTube, and you can watch them at another time. So learning how to make your scraps not go in the waste, celebrating Earth Day, and making art with our scraps. So thank you for joining me. I hope you can join us on Mondays at 1. I also have a art mail subscription, monthly flower in your painting in your art in your mailbox. You can sign up for that on my Etsy. eBay, I sell artist trading cards / ACEOs, so miniatures of all my art. And yeah, and I also sell locally. So I hope to see you or meet you sometime. Have a great day.